We need to talk.
Stop right there. It's because I left your front door open while you were in Vegas for a week, right? Don't worry, not much was stolen.
No, it's not that.
Oh, thank God I didn't notice.
But you're not what you're supposed to be. Like, you keep saying you're gonna change.
That's not my fault. I change, you just don't notice.
You keep making promises and you keep breaking them.
At least I'm making promises, though. I mean, some people don't promise anything. I promise to promise.
You say real gamers know gamers? You don't know me at all.
See, that's where you're wrong, buddy. I do know you. And I'm here to prove it. With not one, but two more promises. It's gonna be different this time.
You really think you're gonna get it right this time?
Oh, absolutely. This time, it's gonna be different. No, it won't.
Greetings and welcome to the channel. This is Mikhailov from Team Retro, where we like retro games and the devices that bring them to us. So I have two devices in front of me made by the same company, the AyaNeo PocketDMG and the AyaNeo PocketEVO. Now I've reviewed AyaNeo devices on my channel before, and I've owned several of these devices over the last couple of years, and it's felt like these devices in particular always seem to overpromise and underdeliver. These devices have a lot of potential to be really wonderful premium experiences, but once they get into people's hands, it becomes clear that corners were cut and these devices are actually not made to last. This is unfortunate considering how expensive these devices really are. Now with these two models I'm featuring today, I'm left with the feeling that I received two incomplete products that I don't feel comfortable reviewing in their current state. So in this video, we're not going to review the DMG or the EVO. We're going to do more of an impressions video of both devices, talk about what's inherently wrong with their design, and use them as examples as to why I'm no longer willing to give AyaNeo my hard-earned dollar bucks. I'm a gentleman about these things, and so I would never do something like this over text or email. So we're gonna do it in a video. So let's dive in and get to work. Now before we get into the DMG and the EVO, I want you to know where this is coming from, because my title of this video is a little clickbaity. However, I also want to be as informative as possible as to how I came to my decision to stop buying AyaNeo products, but also to make this video. I have several AyaNeo devices, as well as ones that I've purchased in the past and sold. All but two were purchased myself with my own money. And I'm not rich by any means. I do decently. The bills get paid. Sometimes I have a little bit extra to spend on handhelds. But these devices are pricey. Some of the ones I own, I only have thanks to getting a good deal on the used marketplace. Well, some of the lower end Android devices I was able to put forth money towards because I got early bird pricing on Indiegogo. However, I always find myself hyped by the concept of an AyaNeo device, but then disappointed when I actually get the device in my hands. And that disappointment has finally come to a head with the AyaNeo PocketDMG and the AyaNeo PocketEVO. So with that out of the way, let's ride into Spec Down just so we know what these two devices bring to the table. Both the AyaNeo PocketDMG and the AyaNeo PocketEVO carry a Snapdragon G3X Gen 2 processor and an Adreno A32 GPU. The DMG can have up to 16 gigabytes of LPDDR5X RAM, while the EVO can have up to 24 gigabytes. Both devices can have up to 1 terabyte of storage with expansion via a micro SD card slot. The screen on the DMG is a 3.92-inch OLED screen with a 1080p resolution and an 8:7 aspect ratio, while the screen on the EVO is a 7-inch OLED screen with a 1080p resolution, 165Hz refresh rate, and a 16:9 aspect ratio. Giving the DMG life is a 6,000 mAh battery, and an 8,600 mAh battery powers the EVO. For connectivity, these handhelds have Wi-Fi built in as well as Bluetooth 5.3. Both devices ship with Android 13. The AyaNeo PocketDMG can currently be purchased on Indiegogo at a starting price of $422 and a top price of $675 for the Retro Power model. The EVO starts at $392 and a top price of $644 for the Retro Power model. So let's start with the DMG. I ordered the lowest model of this handheld in white. Now at first glance, this handheld looks like a premium model Game Boy. And if that's what you're looking to emulate, you'll have a very good experience at first. AyaNeo's claim to fame on these devices are the screens. The OLED screen is very nice, and the aspect ratio is just right for not just the Game Boy family of systems, but NES and SNES as well. At first glance, if you're looking for an absolutely premium Game Boy experience, this is it. In fact, I backed this device because I saw gameplay footage from TechDweeb on the Retro Handhelds podcast, and I was instantly sold. Here's the problem with that, and it's nothing against TechDweeb or Retro Handhelds, because they were sent the Retro Power model, the most expensive one, and that is the one that gives the best experience. I don't have any type of partnership or collaboration with AyaNeo, and after this video goes live, I probably never will. So I was never sent a Retro Power DMG unit. I also didn't want to spend $675 for a good-looking Game Boy. So I had the same problem who a bunch of other people who watched reviews and saw this unit had. I could only afford the base white model. And yeah, sure enough, when I got it in my hands, something seemed a bit off in the way that it felt. So I put it aside and I went to CES. So while I was there, Russ from Retro Game Corps posted a video explaining how different the plastics are between the Retro Power model and the white and black model of the DMG. And that kind of solidified my suspicions that the feel of the device was off. And I actually got the opportunity to hold the two handhelds side by side while I was at CES. And sure enough, the Retro Power unit was the better designed unit with a much better and less smudgy plastic and definitely a nicer look overall. And it just felt like the absolute premium device I wanted, and that suddenly invalidated the white unit that I was able to afford. Now, AyaNeo responded to Russ's video saying that the plastic on the white and black models are actually made of better plastic than the Retro Power model. But here are my 2 cents on that response. 1, why would you say that your most expensive model has worse material? And 2, I call malarkey. And I do this as somebody who has receipts. And so let's look at some other AyaNeo devices and take a look at their plastics. And let's start with the black AyaNeo Q. This device starts at $1,000 if you want to buy it new. But take a look at the plastic. It's all smudgy and gross after just a little bit of use, and it has that same slippery feeling as the AyaNeo DMG. Now let's look at an older device, the 6800U AyaNeo Geek. Not only does this device have the same smudginess, but the plastic is also starting to crack near the right joystick, and you could see light bleed from the LEDs coming out of the crack. AyaNeo Slide, also smudgy. Which brings us to the AyaNeo PocketEVO, which has the same gross, smudgy plastic as devices from 2 years ago. And if smudgy plastic was the only issue with these devices, I can almost forgive AyaNeo. But they also lose points in the way that they design their thermals and their cooling. AyaNeo devices are known for getting warm and having loud fan curves. and this is apparent in every device that I've owned. However, this is especially apparent in the AyaNeo PocketEVO because the heat of the device throttles the Snapdragon chip and impacts its performance. And this was uncovered by another YouTuber I saw at CES, Derek, and as a result of his findings, I tested my EVO as soon as I got it. And my unit is definitely affected. The solution to this is to open up the unit. Did I mention AyaNeo units are near impossible to open? And apply thermal tape myself. AyaNeo also responded to Derek's video by offering to send affected users thermal grease for them to repair the units themselves. Did I mention that AyaNeo units are impossible to open? So let's take a look at what you need to do to open up the EVO. First, you need to remove these adhesive panels on the left and right sides of the unit to uncover the screws. Then you need to pry open the unit with a spudger and then take the unit apart to get to where you need to apply the thermal grease. Chances are you're going to scratch and scuff your expensive unit while doing this, and most people who buy a unit they think is future-proof have no intention of ever opening it. And in case you're wondering, yes, my AyaNeo DMG is also affected by this heating issue, meaning you'd also have to open up that unit in order to get the most out of a chip that you paid good money for. On paper, the AyaNeo PocketEVO is an amazing device. The 7-inch AMOLED screen with great ergonomics, a powerful Snapdragon processor, a bezel-less glass front, full-size joysticks, and an efficient Android system. Sign me up. But in practice, AyaNeo made some very poor choices here, and one can only be hurt so many times living on the promises of doing better, but continuously experiencing disappointment when those promises are broken or not met. It gives me very little faith in the upcoming AyaNeo 3, which has all these interchangeable parts. Again, on paper, it looks amazing. In practice, it's more to break and more to get wrong, which is a shame, because I wanted this company to succeed so much. But unless AyaNeo makes some dramatic changes in either their price structure or their hardware design, or both, I can't, in good conscience, stay in a relationship where this pattern of behavior continues. My wallet just can't take it anymore. But that's okay. I think my heart can move on. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you still willing to give AyaNeo a shot, or is your heart moving on as well? And please feel free to continue the conversation on the Retro Handhelds and Steam Machine Discords, where you could find me hanging out in between videos. And if you want to support the channel like these wonderful people on the screen, you can do so by going to my Patreon page. Links for all these places are in the description. But that'll do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and please be sure to like and subscribe if this video is helpful to you in any way. Every smash of that button helps the channel grow and allows me to get more content out to you. But until next time, bye for now, and don't stop believing.